What is up? This is exciting. I decided I'm going to go live on YouTube instead of Facebook and Instagram. So, yeah, it's totally early in the morning, and I just finished my own personal meditation and had the most incredible divine download and wanted to share it out immediately. So, this is what I get to do by my tree, by the fire. Got a little snow village going here, and just really, really excited and in reverence of what has come through that I'm feeling really, really called to share. And it's a beautiful time of year in this winter solstice and in reflection, and me doing that as well. What came through is self valuation, and it's something I've been really tuning into for a while now in my own personal journey. And what that really means is, you know, just the word value in general. In Western society, it's all about um, external things, right? And what we place value on is like that thing actually has value. And if I own it, then I am valuable. But it's really, I truly believe the reverse. And it was only through seeing things that way for so many years, how relieving it was to my nervous system and into my entire being when I started to physiologically make that shift. It's really an embodiment practice, the ability you have to love something. That's what creates value, right? Can you look at something and hold it in reverence, in sacred union, right? And how you value something is what creates value. And that really profoundly shifted me. So now looking like what actually is valuable, what has value on the planet, and then tuning that inward. And that's what I really wanted to share in this training was self-valuation. What is the value you place on yourself? Like, do you hold sacred outlook on yourself, on your physical and energetic presence? So, what I'm offering up is a really, really special training that you can set an intention to do over the 12 days of Christmas. And one of my spiritual mentors just offered a beautiful meditation the other day, and he inspired me, Richard Rudd, on this 12 days of Christmas from Christmas Eve to New Year's to contemplate each night before bed. And what I'm excited to reflect on and offer to you is dropping, dropping in or tuning into this question and really coming into your navel point. So again, energetically and physiologically, your navel point is this beautiful place of a trillion points of golden light. That's yogic science. And it's also where you house a billion unique flora. That's physiology, right? And it's your link between you and source consciousness, right? Your umbilical cord was here. And so it is your link and connection to the cosmos, to everyone. It is your creative center. It is your brilliance. It is your power. It is all of your senses physiologically are actually governed by your gut, by your navel. So much goodness in here. It is, in essence, your innocence, your purity, your piety. It, it's your third chakra, the solar plexus chakra. It is the core of your being. So drop in each night for 12 nights and simply ask your core, right? Come drop it into the core. Drop it into your piety, your pure place, and ask, what is the highest service I can offer to humanity? I've been contemplating for months on just how we all show up and participate in the evolution of the human species. And this question, you drop in from your core where you're stable and you ask. And when you ask, you receive, and then you start to really, listen to that intuition coming in and allow your intellect to translate that into action. But you drop in from this stable place. So I want to offer a meditation. And you can just simply close your eyes right now and just let these words dance around you. Closing your eyes, deepening the breath, inhaling deeply through the nose, expanding that beautiful navel point outward. And then as you exhale, letting that navel point come inward, but just notice it's surrounded by that trillion points of golden light. So inhaling through the nose deeply, exhaling out through the nose, and let these words dance. I am not afraid of shining my light. I shine it out from my heart, from my eyes. I let others see it. I am not afraid to stand in my truth. And as you sit or lay, focused on this navel point of power, ask yourself, how would the most exalted version of myself act? And just simply start to drop in and be that human, be that exalted, beautiful, perfect being. In the stability of your core, you can connect with this universe. This is universal ecstasy. Everything cycles around you, your limbs, your muscles, your blood, your chi, the earth, the seasons, interactions, experiences. But your core is stable, and you can access this sensation at any time and all times. Pause here and tap in. Sit in your core. Rest in there. Rest in the ecstasy. Now activate the dreams inside you. And be patient. The clicking of the planets are and always have been creating the perfect unfolding and divine timing to bring it all together. Reflect now. You can slowly open your eyes. What gifts are you patterned with? Great question. Tune in and set your path on course for the next decade based on these gifts, right? Based on these ideas from your creative purity, your piety. Tune in and set the trajectory for this next decade to be in the same direction, right? To be in line with that aim, with that focus. And then I'm going to ask you, so you can drop in and do this each night and then contemplate on, now that you have tapped into this purity and this piety that perhaps was lost. The next question is, why? You're now tapped in, you're seeing what gifts have I been given that are uniquely mine, and I'm so excited to share my truth. And you start to feel that you are this exalted being right now, and you start to embody that. And then it's really knowing what happens to you when you start to feel the altitude, right? You're making this quantum leap. You are climbing this mountain quantum fast. So what are all the ways that you respond to the altitude? In other words, get to know like your freakouts, like what gives you the bends. List all the ways that you sabotage your success. So each night, just looking at, okay, like what are some ways that I typically sabotage when I feel I'm coming into this exalted being. We all have our fears of fully expressing ourselves, but what are the patterns that you step into to sideline it, right? We want to be able to avoid the altitude sickness, because if you have ever had altitude sickness, it ain't pleasant. And the thing is, you got to come down off the mountain in order to heal. You got to get the O2 mask on. You got to come down from the mountain. And then it's kind of hard to climb back up again, physiologically speaking, right? Everything comes back to anchoring in the body. So we want to know what that altitude sickness kind of looks like so we can plop up the mountain, right? Boom. So, for example, like, do you, start fights with other people? You go into the whole comparison game. You look at what other people are doing. You go into busy work. You get exhausted. You're burned out. You numb with food or Netflix or alcohol. What is it that you do that pulls you into that altitude sickness? And then it's really, how do you strategize and prepare for it? You know your bends, you know your habits that get you kind of feeling like you had to come off the mountain. So, how are you going to prepare for it? And I would offer and contribute this really powerful exercise. Lay out three plans, an A, a B, and a C, to move through it without getting taken out. That's how you're going to head into 2020 and the next decade and the next 7-year cycle, right? You recognize your own patterns and you plan for them. And there are so many ways, right, that we can really navigate. And it's tapping into this magnificent organism that we get to reside in called human. And noticing, one way perhaps is just looking at the world around you, which is programmed to take that innocence down, that energy, that creativity down. So pay attention to the heaviness of self-doubt and comparison. Pay attention to those frequencies in your space and protect yourself every day. So you can do exercises to strengthen your aura. You need to know what's going on in your body. That's a great plan. What is permeating and why is it triggering you? And use what I call the energy exfoliation steps, which, if you're interested, please reach out to me. I share these with all of my high-level clients, but it's something I learned from a spiritual mentor and put into my own practice. And it's really like noticing, wow, perhaps you had an interaction with somebody and they triggered you. Like, they made you angry. Like, oh man, like, what a dick, right? And getting to just be with that anger, be with that feeling, and just embrace it as part of the holy human experience, right? Allow it in. The moment you allow the feeling to be there is the moment that you can start to alchemize it, right? That you can embrace it. You let it in. And you know that it's there only for your next level of expansion. So you get to continue to climb up that mountain even when you get triggered. And you don't have to stay small. And when I say small, I don't mean small, like worse, just simply trapped in that level of the mountainside, right? Knowing that you have already felt this greater access point. So in that, right, deconstruct your own neuroses, right? Deconstruct those inner emotions. Let them metabolize, right? It somehow always comes back to like a similar tape that we all have of like, I kind of believe I'm not enough, or that's still going on in there. And what's that about? And this person triggered me, or that triggered me because somehow I don't, I haven't healed that in myself. You know, he pissed me off, and now it's a reflection of me not feeling like enough. And um, or they're over there having the time of their lives and having so much fun, and I can't. It's like, well, wow, how am I depriving myself of pleasure? Whatever it is, pull it up, right? Because when you face it, you dissolve it, and you whole human who's already perfect, and you just get to then decide from there. Hey, what's going to serve me in continuing to climb up the mountain? What's going to nourish me? What's going to energize me? What's going to keep my chi flowing and my you know what are you going to get up the mountain with, right? Is it going to be the depleting energy of not feeling like enough and comparison and triggers and all this stuff, or is it going to be, let me actually take that emotion and alchemize it into fuel to continue me up the mountain? It's so good, right? Another plan is to simply be informed, right? Have a very strong nervous system, because we have so much external stimuli coming at us. So the more command you have over your mind, the less you're going to kind of swirl around and kind of, react and be a bitch to circumstance. And the more command you have, the more you are, again, you're finding that third chakra, that point where you are innocent, and your creativity is coming from here. And no matter what the commotion is, your core stability is where you get to birth creation from. So you can do breathing techniques. There's a lot that you can do with your eyes to focus. One thing I love that I've spoken about before is really coming in and pulling your eyes up and in to really place pressure on the optic nerve, which stimulates secretions from the pituitary and the pineal gland, which help you focus and unlock your creativity, right? So it's, again, listening to the intuition coming in, but also being able to interpret that intuition, right? That intuition can come in a weird language, and you need to be able to interpret that with your intellect and then take aligned action from it. So that dopamine is a great tool to help you focus that energetic, right, alignment, and be able to really take action to birth your ideas. And there's so many other beautiful exercises. Simply just closing your eyes and starting to understand the difference between seeing and looking. So if you close your eyes and you just sense light and dark around you, and then open your eyes and just take it in, drink in your surroundings instead of looking for answers. So those are 3 little steps that I offer. And I created an entire guide. So if you're interested in going a little deeper into self-valuation, please reach out to me. And I hope this was incredibly helpful. It was super fun for me to just sit with this. And I will be going through these 12 nights for sure. So much love. Peace out.